Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where it is all about Amazon KDP, building passive income streams and living a life of financial freedom. One of the most frequently asked things in the comments is if I can do a video around about Amazon advertising, and today's the day. I will create a whole new series where it is all about Amazon advertising, what things you have looking for, how you can open up your Amazon advertising dashboard, and so on. So Amazon advertising is a very huge topic, and I have to split the whole advertising into different videos. So today is topic number 1 of Amazon advertising. So if you don't want to miss the future parts of Amazon advertising, understanding the whole topic and become a very good advertiser of Amazon KDP to increase the sales, your royalties, and your whole Amazon KDP business, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the future videos of this whole series. In today's part 1 of the advertising series, first thing I want to show you is why Amazon advertising is so important, what impact advertising had on my Amazon KDP business. I will show you the increase of sales and royalties in the dashboard. After this, I want to show you where you can find the advertising dashboard and create or log in into an advertising account. After this, I will explain in a detailed way the overlay of the Amazon advertising dashboard. I will show you the most important metrics and the definition of the metrics so that you have all the informations, all the value together and know what you are doing. So let's start with part number 1 of Amazon advertising, and we will see this in 5.5 seconds, my friend. So as I mentioned in the intro, the first thing I want to show you how deep the impact of advertising was on my Amazon KDP business. I did the same thing as you. I always wanted to make organic sales, so all the royalties that are incoming are my profits. Then at the 15th of July 2022, I started advertising because I wanted to know what impact advertising could have on my business. So as you can see, before this date, I made round about 1, 2, or 3 sales a day, even days without a sale. And right after I started advertising, as you can see, my sold units increased very, very strong. We made consistent sales every day, and I think the bar chart is explaining itself. You see the increase in my sales and royalties with my advertising. As I mentioned, my sold units increased very heavily, very strong, and before this date, my royalties were about $50 up to $100 a month. After advertising, my royalties increased between 300 up to 400 plus per month. And even in September right now, we are currently over $300 right now. There are 2 ways how you can open your advertising dashboard. First thing is in your bookshelf, you can find right behind your books 3 dots where you can promote and advertise your book. So this is the first way how to open your advertising dashboard. The second way is in marketing. So if you are clicking on marketing, the featured Amazon ads, and you have to choose a marketplace where you want to run ads. So currently you can run ads on Amazon.com, so the American marketplace, on the UK marketplace, German marketplace, France, Italy, Spain, Canada, and Australia. So for this video, we have a closer look for Amazon.com. But if you want to do advertising on different marketplaces, you need a book in this language and published for this specific marketplace. If you want to know how you can publish books in different languages and on different marketplaces, I did a very good video on this topic, and you can click on it above in the right hand corner. So make sure you check it out, because this video can increase the sales up to 4 or 5 times. So as I mentioned in this video, we have a closer look for Amazon.com. You choose the marketplace and go to Ads Console. So if you are clicking on the button, I think the first thing you have to do is to log in your advertising account. The login is the same as in your Amazon KDP dashboard. And after you logged in successfully, I think you have to agree the terms of conditions. If you accept this, you are in your advertising dashboard. So in part 1 in this video, I will explain the overlay of the Amazon advertising dashboard, so that you know all the buttons and all the metrics, what the metrics are meaning, and so on. Before we have a closer look on the buttons and the metrics, we have to add a payment method for our advertising. How can you add this payment method? There's a button with administration. You have to click on this button, and then there is billing and payments. So you have to click on billing and payments. And now a very, very huge information that you always have to keep in mind. The accumulating charges in a month is always billed in the following month, in the first 2 days. So keep this in mind. For example, you start advertising in the next month in October. Okay? You spend over the whole month $100 in advertising. You make profits round about $200. So always keep in mind that the $200 only get paid at the end of December. So 3 months after the current month. The advertising costs of $100 in October, you have to pay the $100 right at the beginning, at the 2nd of November. So always keep this in mind, to have enough money in your bank account so that Amazon can bill you the right amount in the following month. So always keep this in mind. As you can see, the billing date is always at the 2nd of the following month. And now we have to add our payment settings. So we click on payment settings. And then what you have to do, you have to add a credit or a debit card. You can click on edit. You can here add a credit or debit card. After this, you have to add your account details. So you are an account manager, so you are an advertiser or brand owner. Make sure you fill in your name and whatsoever, and use the account manager's address as a billing address. Okay, then you have to click on save. And after this, Amazon will debit $1 from your bank account to make sure that you have enough money on your bank account and that you can pay the amount of money that you have to pay. After your bank account is approved, the $1 is refunded to your bank account. Now we have our payment settings, our account details added into our Amazon advertising dashboard. And now we are ready to start campaigns, to start advertising. So now we have a closer look at all the buttons and all the metrics in our dashboard. So now the first button is Campaign Manager. In the Campaign Manager, you can see all your active or inactive campaigns that you already created. Then there is a button with drafts. So if you create a campaign, you don't have to activate this campaign directly. You can save it as a draft. Then there's a button with budgets. This button means you have an overview if a campaign is always within the daily budget or not. At the button targeting, you can analyze the best keywords at each campaign. And the button history is important if you make any changes in your campaign, all the changes are recorded and you can analyze the changes if the changes had an impact on your campaign. Then there's a button with reports. There you can create a report for each campaign and analyze each campaign if the campaign is profitable or not. And the third button is creative service. And there Amazon is promoting different services round about Amazon KDP. As I mentioned, the most important button is Campaign Manager. And now we have a closer look at all the metrics. So as you can see, you can add different metrics in your dashboard. There's a space for 4 metrics. And if you want to add a metric, you can delete the already existing metric and replace it with another metric. So now I will explain all the metrics so that you have a detailed information and knowledge about all the metrics of Amazon KDP. So I will start with the amount of spend. This is very self-explained. This is the monthly amount you spend it for Amazon advertising. And this is the amount of money you have to pay in the following month. So how is this amount created? You can see that we have the metric clicks. So each time a customer sees your book and clicks on your book, you have to pay for this click. Therefore, there is a metric called CPC, cost per click. You can choose the CPC when you are creating a campaign. So for example, you create a campaign and choose the cost per clicks of 10 cents and you have 100 clicks. The total amount of costs are $10. Okay, so the next thing is impressions. Every time a customer browses through Amazon and Amazon shows your book to the customer, it's an impression. The next metric is a very important metric for the Amazon algorithm. It's the CTR, the click-through rate. So what does the click-through rate mean? It's the relation of impressions to clicks. So for example, in this case, we have 20,890 impressions and 157 clicks. So if we do the math, we are dividing 157 by 20,890 multiplied times 100 and have our click-through rate of 0.75%. This, as I mentioned, it's very important for the Amazon algorithm because this metric shows how relevant the book is to the customer. So the next metric is sales. Very important to know, this is not the amount of royalties you earned with this campaign. It's the amount of sales that Amazon made with your book. So for example, you have a book published and priced for $12 and you have 10 sales. So the amount of sales is $120, but the amount of royalties, for example, you have $3 royalties, is only $30. Okay, so this metric sales mean the whole amount of sales that Amazon made with your book. It's not the royalties that you made over the month. The next metric is orders. That is very self-explained. And then the next thing, it's the most important thing in Amazon advertising, it's the ACOS, the advertising cost of sales. So what does ACOS mean? ACOS on Amazon stands for advertising cost of sales. This metric tells you how much PPC revenue you are generating from the money you are spending on PPC ads. The equation to solve for ACOS is ad spend divided by sales from ads. So what does that mean? An ACOS of 53% is your amount of spend. For example, in this case, $47. $4.58 divided by $89.08, and you multiply it by 100. So my ACOS is 53%. As I mentioned, this is one of the most important metrics in your Amazon KDP advertising dashboard. But what does ACOS mean and how you can use this metric to make a statement if your ad campaign is profitable or not? You always have to compare your ACOS with your profit margin. Okay, so for example, we do the math. You have your book published for $12 and you make royalties of $3. Okay, so we are dividing $3 with $12 price and multiply this times 100. It gives us a profit margin of 25%. Okay, and now you have to compare your ACOS with the profit margin. If the ACOS is under your profit margin, your campaign is profitable and you're making a profit. If the ACOS is equal to your profit margin, you're making no losses and no profits. If your ACOS is higher as your profit margin, you are making a loss. Okay, so in this example, a profit margin of 25% and an ACOS of 53% means my ad campaign is not profitable. Okay, so always keep this in mind. You can watch the part of this video again and again. Make sure that you always know what ACOS and profit margin means. So the next metrics is only relevant if you have published an ebook and using the ebook in Kindle Unlimited. These are the most important metrics. I hope that I explained the metrics easily to you so you understand all the metrics perfectly. Okay, if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. I answer all the questions and give you my opinion as good as I can. So after we had a closer look at all the metrics, I will explain very quick what types of campaigns you can start in advertising. So if you are clicking, for example, on create campaign, you can choose your campaign. In this part, I will give you a quick explanation, and in part 2, 3, 4, whatsoever, I will give you detailed informations of each campaign type, how you use the campaign types. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the future videos of this advertising series. So as I mentioned, you can choose sponsored products. With sponsored product ads, you can targeting keyword advertising, category advertising, or even product advertising. You also can use sponsored brands and lock screen ads. But as a beginner, I would always keep my focus on sponsored ads because sponsored product ads are the most profitable ways to earn money and increase the sales. So as I mentioned, this was part 1 of the advertising series. In the next part, in part 2, we have a closer look on the sponsored product ads, especially on the sponsored product keyword advertising, because this is the most important campaign type for your advertising business. I hope you liked the video. I hope you have learned a lot from this video about the metrics, how you can open up your advertising dashboard and so on. If it helped you, leave a thumbs up on this video. As I mentioned, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the future videos of the series. There's nothing more about to say. We will see you in the next video, part 2 of Amazon advertising.